On today's History of Politics, we're going to talk about the first and most important component of the United States Constitution, and that's called the Preamble. Already, we've talked about the 7 articles of the Constitution, which basically break down how the government is set up, who has what power to do what, how the Constitution can be changed. We've talked about all that stuff. We've talked about the 27 amendments that are in the Constitution, the first 10 of whom being the Bill of Rights. But now, what we're going to talk about today is what's called the Preamble, or the opening lines of it. And in this statement, what the founders and the framers are trying to do here is they're trying to set a particular tone. They're giving the reason of why they're writing this, what they expect to come from it. But they also were smart enough to see that they didn't have all the answers, that it wasn't a perfect document, that it could be improved upon, which the parts of the Constitution already show that there can be improvements made to it to reflect the society and times, okay? Everybody should know the first 3 words of the preamble. We the people. We the people. Now, that didn't mean just the framers. That meant all of us, because everybody should be able to agree on these principles. In order to form a more perfect union, meaning that the union or the country was not perfect. It'll never be perfect. But we can add on to the Constitution. We can change it following the principles that it's outlined. We can change it and make things better and better and better over the course of time. So in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, because we've already established that the Constitution is the law of the land, and it gives certain, as they call them, inalienable rights, and that all men are created equal. We all have these rights, such as the 4th Amendment, the 5th Amendment, the 8th Amendment, the 6th Amendment, the 1st Amendment, the 2nd Amendment, that Bill of Rights. That's establishing justice right then and there. To ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense. So let's start with this. Ensure domestic tranquility. We want to make sure that we keep peace in-house. That's what the Constitution is supposed to do. It's supposed to keep civil unrest down. It's supposed to help us grow as a country, as a nation, as a people. To provide for the common defense. Well, we do that in the form of taxes. And believe it or not just taxes. Taxes paid for the production of things, but also in manpower. Because we don't have a draft right now, but we do have a volunteer army. Promote the general welfare. Now, when I say welfare, I'm not talking about food stamps and that little $140 check. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What it means is that the Constitution has provisions in it to provide for all of us, for everybody, the most vulnerable up, okay? So that everybody can live as well as everybody else. And yeah, it does kind of have something to do with this whole SNAP and Medicaid kind of thing, because not everybody is blessed to be able to start a multi-million-dollar business. Not everybody is blessed to have parents that started multi-million-dollar businesses or billion-dollar businesses. There are some folks, listen, I really get annoyed when I hear Republicans say you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, if you were born with no arms, how could you pull yourself up? If you were born with no feet, how could you pull yourself up? And then you want to talk about pro-life, so you don't want to kill a person who's born that way, right? So how is he supposed to live? Is he supposed to just die? No. What about those who paid into the system for 60 years? How about that? Are they supposed to just roll over and die when they turn 67? No, let's just work them to death. Let's work them. Let's not give them anything. Let's just work them till they're 75, 80, and when they're useless to us, let's just throw them in the hole, right? It's not how it works. That's not what the framers wanted. That's not what they wanted. They wanted us to promote, to push forward the general welfare of everyone and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Our posterity. What is our posterity? Simply put, those that come behind us. Our descendants. So when it says to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves, to make sure that we have the rights that are outlined in this Constitution for ourselves, but not just for ourselves, for our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids and those after that and those after that and those after that, that they can all enjoy those rights too. We do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. And that's the preamble. That's the preamble. This sets the tone and the stage of what the framers sought for this country, what they wanted us to have, what the freedoms and the rights that we would have and the ability to enjoy them and not be like we were indentured servitude to Great Britain and the Mad King, King George III. That was a no-no. And here we are. And yet at this very time, people like Donald Trump want to take away those rights. First, they want to go after the minorities. But let me ask you something. When they've gotten what they wanted from the minorities, and it isn't enough, who do you think is next? Because, and I'm talking now to like the Charlie Kirk and the Nick Fuentes crowd, the white supremacists and so on. You think that you're exempt because you've got a white supremacist in the White House? The Latinos thought that too by wearing T-shirts, Latinos for Trump and all this crap and voting for him. And when it came time to load up the boat, they were on it. There's no honor among thieves. And you've got a thief in the White House. You've got an old-time thief and a con man. I've been dealing with him for the last 50 years. 50. I know what he does. I know the people that he's hurt. Yeah, and he's hurt quite a few too. He wants to be a king. And that is a direct slap in the face to those brave heroes from 250 years ago who fought the Revolutionary War to get away from a king. But see, the difference is he doesn't want to put us under a king. He wants to be the king. It's bad business. And I highly suggest you rethink your positions because it's not what the framers wanted. And that's going to be the end of our series on the Constitution that we've gone over. Tomorrow, we're going to start talking about the laws and policies. I'm not going to go through every federal law. I can tell you that now. But I can give you some basics on it. And tomorrow, we're going to start talking about the differences between felonies and misdemeanors. We could specify what treason is. It's already defined in the Constitution. But we can also talk about what high crimes and misdemeanors are as well, because those are impeachable offenses. And not only can a president, a vice president be taken out of it, but as well, people in Congress and judges. So make sure you come back for that one. In the meantime, political discourse is always invited. And as long as it's respectful, that's great. Comment all you want. But if you become disrespectful, trust me, you will get back what you gave before you get blocked and deleted. If you learned something, like, share, and I'll see you on the next one.